a lot of Cook County's surplus details.
Because some
So
kind
we
of
watched
count can
the
get it flipped.
auctions live, and there were four surplus opportunities today. Not a lot, but we were able to look at the older surplus funds in Cook County. I actually got to close the deal live in front of everybody too. So today was pretty interesting. It was good. After that, had some other meetings, and now here we are. So I see we got 70 people on the call. Awesome. For those who are new, welcome. We do these calls every Monday and Thursday. Monday is a Q&A, and Thursday is a specific lesson. But this Monday, we're actually going to be doing a lesson. We're going to be doing a skip tracing lesson with Skipify. All right. And we will save the questions for the end. So I'm going to let Skipify do their training so that you guys can ask your questions at the end of that. So let me see. Saad, if you want to
Yes,
go
I'm
ahead and
here.
take over.
How's it going, Eric? Nice to meet everyone.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
Bob.
thanks everyone joining. Yeah, so we were on about a month ago, but I'm gonna just start from the beginning here and just do what Skipify is. I'm sure you all are familiar with the whole Skipify concept, where what we do is our whole goal is to find
Hey,
information.
Saad, 1 second. Everybody, let's go ahead and make sure we're muted. Just go ahead and check your microphone because I can hear some background information. All right. Sorry about that, Saad. Go
No
ahead.
worries, no worries. I'm gonna share my screen too, if you don't mind. Can I request it or? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry, one moment, sorry. There we go. So basically, just to start from the beginning, Skipify is a skip tracing lead generation service that generates leads with skip tracing. So what is skip tracing? It's the act of finding the contact information of the owner or person's associated with a given property. Okay, so if you want to know who owns a property and how to get a hold of them, you come to skipify.ai. If you want to know that person's associates, their relatives, you come to our website. If you want to know the previous owners of that property, you come to skipify.ai. So again, just to go over the basics of it, you're able to kind of unlock different lead generation tools. So, distressed owners, you can find owners that are, maybe having financial hardships, delinquent taxes, pre-foreclosures. Through our software, we have the ability to help you find those properties and search for those owners and connect with them. And connect meaning you can have their mailing address, you have their phone numbers, multiple phone numbers, you have email addresses, all different methods of communication we have available. You can find their family connections, in terms of, relatives. You can even search for owners that are marked as deceased in the records. So you have a filter that I'll show you in a little bit that will allow you to say, okay, here's a group of properties. I want the ones where the owner is marked as deceased so I can find their families. And you can get a hold of the next of kin. We can stay compliant too. If they've requested to be a part of the do not call list, we have a DNC filter as well too. Basically, there's two ways to search for data. You can either upload your own data if you have the name and address of the person you're looking for. You can upload your data, which I'll show you, or you can use our property search tool. And of course, we believe that we're one of the most accurate softwares out there. We wouldn't be here and telling you that otherwise if it weren't the case. And key features wise, the pre-foreclosure propensity data. Pre-foreclosure, you can find out if someone's about to go to foreclosure. Propensity to default. That's another avenue that we've been advertising in terms of finding homeowners who aren't going through pre-foreclosure, but however may be having some sort of missed payments or some sort of difficulties in making payments where our AI algorithm tells our database that this person might be going into default or pre-foreclosure at some point. All 50 states, and of course we get the full ownership history, tax delinquencies, any other kind of indicators as well too. I'm gonna go to the software now, before, so you guys can see the interface. So we have our dashboard here, and basically it tells you, how many credits you have. So it tells you, okay, I've got, 13,000 Skiptrace credits, meaning I can Skiptrace 13,000 properties or use 13,000 skips to find properties. I have 47,000 property downloads. That means how many individual property downloads I can do, meaning just the address and the given information about a property, not the contact, but the actual house information, property information. You can get through the downloads. There's multiple ways, as I mentioned, to get your property data. First, you can do an upload, or you can do a property search. Let me go to the property search first. So as you can see, we have a whole tool here. Eric, we're in Cook County, so the default map here is for Cook County. So if you're in the neighborhood, please stop by. But we're right here in Chicago, and if you all you have to do is enter a geographic area in terms of where to search for. You can do an individual address. You can do a county. You can do
So, Todd, yeah, I didn't know you guys were in Chicago. I'm here for the whole week. I've been attending
no
auctions.
way.
I'll come by and see you guys for sure.
Let's do it. Absolutely, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Because yeah,
We
we're
can actually the four properties that had a surplus from today, if you wouldn't mind, we could go ahead and skip trace those.
let's do it. Absolutely, let's do it. If you can
All right.
send me those properties in the chat, I'll happily.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a link so we can get real time. So I'm posting a link in the chat for you right now. If you open that,
I'm gonna try to hide some of the property data because sometimes when you post these things online, they flag it for showing too much information.
oh yeah, we'll have to gray it out.
Yeah, so I'll make our friend Dan's life a lot easier by not showing stuff I don't have to
Yeah,
show.
it's sad if you, as long as you don't move around too much, we can probably work with it. Just don't move around the property addresses too much, and then we could blur it out pretty easily.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Uh,
So
all right.
if you click on the link that I provided,
Well, I'm getting an error here. So how do I get to your data that you want me to get to?
let me see. Click on sales
All right.
and then hit today's sales.
And the site might be dragging or something. If you have the addresses, just
Yeah, let me just shoot the address over to you. 1 second.
oh, we got them. We got them. Okay. I have the addresses. Are just the first four on this list.
I can't see your screen. No, we would have to go to the one that has a surplus.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. So looking at this list for everybody who hasn't seen this before, we're looking for a property that is sold to a third-party bidder for more than what was owed. So all of these on this initial page right here, we only see one that is sold to a third-party bidder and only sold for $1 more. So no surplus right there. Let's scroll down and hit page 2. I believe it was on page 2 or 3. And we have a small surplus at the like 6th one down. And then if you look at the final one, we can do that one. That's a decent surplus.
The last one here.
Yeah, so they owed 71,000 and it sold for 80,000. So yeah, there's the property address. So in this scenario, we already have a confirmation of the property selling for a higher amount. That would leave a surplus, and now we would have to skip trace to see who the owner is.
Okay. Rockford, Illinois. Okay. So now, here's things we can, certain things we can do. So when you get the property record here, it tells you exactly where it is, gives you an overview of the property, so you can tell exactly the details behind it. All right, so it gives you, some other details here without doing anything. You can get the property address, the city, the state, if it's owner occupied or not. There's certain metrics here you can get without doing anything. But if you want to get the real data, what you do is hit skip trace. Now, let's see. So now the key part here where I would advise everyone to take a look is this little area below the text box. First, you have your demographic filters, right? So in this case, age range would not be relevant, sorry. However, if you have a bigger list and you want to get younger homeowners, older homeowners, what have you, you can definitely use this filter depending on your methodology of finding homeowners. You can do male or female. You want to have a campaign directed towards a certain gender, you can do that as well too. I think what you want to do here is for this case, you want the relatives contacts. That's important. So the homeowner, you want to include any known relatives of that homeowner. Now, this filter here is called the deceased filter as well too. If you have a larger list and you only want homeowners marked as deceased, you would press yes for deceased or no. And it would filter out the results, and it would only give you the owners that are marked as deceased with the relatives, of course, so you can contact people associated with that person. You probably want to DNC scrub it if you want to know if the person is on the do not call list. Now, another option here is include the previous owners of that property. Now, the benefits of that, Eric can go into that, but we have that option as well too. This
Yeah,
requires some
so
additional skills.
yeah, guys, if you're looking at foreclosures that took place 2 months and older, you're always going to want to include the previous owner's information. All right, because if you do not click that button, it's just going to match you who the current owner is. Now, the address that we're looking at, the sale just took place today, so they're still going to be listed as the homeowner. So our skip tracing would be accurate. But once again, if you're looking at older sales dates, 2 months and beyond, you always need to click that include previous owners, because we have to understand that the surplus is entitled to the owner prior to the sale. All right, so that's very important that you guys click that button.
All right. Now, the next step is to skip trace it. So hit the skip trace button. And what you do is you go to my data. And right here, as is the file I have, and we do have a hit. And Eric, let me know if you want me to show the file or not, the data in the file. I
Yeah,
can.
you can. That's fine. Mm-hmm.
So now, as you can see, and Dan, hopefully you can figure this out. We have your input fields here. So this person is the owner, and is the matched. This is the matched name. So we confirm that the owner from the property record is the owner on the skip trace file, meaning the contact information that we have. We got the person's age, and the person is deceased, so we get that flag. That gives you information about them. They were on the do not call list, and these are his phone numbers here. So if you now it says this odd little number here, but itself expand the field, you get the full phone number of that person. Okay. Now, if you keep scrolling, you get other information as well too. You get their mailing address, If it's different than the actual property address, it gives you the mailing address of the person as well too. And this is where the other stuff comes in now, the relative information. So now you get the relative information, you get the relative's age. We don't have, how they're related, but we have the person's age, and of course we have the relative's phone number. And if you keep scrolling, we have multiple relatives as well too. Relative 2, relative 3 in this case, and associated persons. And now look here, as Eric said, it wasn't pertinent for this use case. However, we have the previous owner's information as well too, and you have their contact information as well. And it keeps going to multiple previous owners. If you want to track down, 1 or 2, previous ownerships back, you can do that with this information here. So this is previous owner number 2, previous owner 2 first name, previous owner 2 last name. And as you keep going, it goes back to quite a bit of history regarding the property, but it's a very detailed encapsulation of what the property is currently, who was in the property, who's associated with the person in the property, their ages, their statuses, and of course, they're the previous owners. So all this information combined, I think, can get you a leg up definitely on getting a hold of the person that you need to get a hold of. So that's one way of skip tracing. Okay. Let me go into a different way as well too. All valid ways of doing it. So obviously, when you log into Skipify.ai, there's a property search. One thing I didn't mention was the My Data feature. So if you have your own data, if you have your own property address, and if you have the owner name, or if you have multiple property addresses and multiple owner names, it's very easy to upload your own data as well too. If you have a bulk list that you want to skip trace, I believe property search is probably the most accurate way to get the owner of a current property and the contact information, because it has the most up-to-date data because it updates every day. However, in My Data, if you have your own data, you can just simply go to upload a file, and you just choose the files you want to upload. And I'll go with the same file here that we had. And of course, the same demographic filters are available here as well too. If you want the relatives, the gender, contact information, and damn, make a note, we need to add the previous owner option to the My Data, but we'll take care of that too. You can do a DNC scrub, get all the relatives, find out if they're deceased or not, and you just hit next. And usually what our AI does is it maps out the fields for you. So it knows if your column is named input first name, it's most likely a first name, and so on. So if you have, last name or user last name, it'll figure it out most of the time. So you don't have to do too many things. If you have a custom field you want to keep in the file, we have custom field as well too. You just go next, you preview your information, and then what it does is it asks you, hey, do you have enough credits? If you don't, it'll ask you to skip trace and you place your order, and it's pretty much that simple. Go back to My Files, that same file is there for you, and it's ready to go. Yeah, and if you're interested in kind of signing up and understanding, how much all this costs, it's pretty reasonable. Let me go to the billing area here. So this price is not for your cause, but what is a test price we have listed for testing purposes. But what you want to see is our plans here. So we've got a free plan that's not listed here. Let me pull it up here. A lot of people use the free plan because it's convenient. You don't need to leave a credit card in there for recurring billing. You just go in and just start skipping for free. It is the most expensive though per skip. It's 15 cents per skip trace. So each property record that you put in, it'll be 15 cents. And of course, if you do the previous owners, that requires multiple skip traces. That multiplies the cost as well too. For other plans, very reasonable plans here. I think the most people are in these two plans right here. $99 a month for basic light. You get a cheaper per skip rate for 750 skips. You get $99 a month. And you get the property records as well too. And it kind of it automatically replenishes your account on a monthly basis. But very simple. If you want to go to your account and downgrade or upgrade your plan, simply do it here. Make sure you have a credit card on file, and you're pretty much ready to go. From here, I will hand it off to Eric. Back to Eric.
Can I ask a question, please?
Of course.
Where are you pulling your data from?
Well, it's not one single location. We have probably more than 100 data sources. If you imagine each count, or hundreds, an understatement, I would say thousands of data sources. If you think about each county in the US, right? Each county has their own database where you pull up property information, assess values, current information, current owner information. So each county's database is being pulled from to our database. And then what we do is we have an algorithm that searches multiple online sources for contact information. These sources could be credit agencies, they could be online websites, they can be, public available websites for your phone number, for your email address, and so on. So where is kind of is probably everywhere is the answer, I would say. Everywhere that we can to get you the most accurate information. And what we do is we layer our searches, meaning that our AI algorithm, basically what it does is it looks at all the different sources and finds the most commonly available contact information, and it gives a likelihood rating on what is the most accurate phone number, what's the most accurate email address, and it selects that as your phone one on your spreadsheet.
So real time, does it pick up if somebody went and bought a new phone tomorrow? Is it able to update that quickly, or is there a 3-day turnaround, 4-day turnaround, etc.?
Well, can you repeat that, please?
If somebody gets a new phone tomorrow, would you have that data?
It depends. I mean, each individual case is a case-by-case basis. Tomorrow it seems pretty optimistic, just because they'd have to submit their information, because someone can get a new phone tomorrow, but if that person, like I could have, me personally, I have 5 phone numbers under my name because I have a family of 5. I've got 3 kids and a wife, right? And myself. So only one of those phone numbers is my phone number. So getting a phone is not the most reliable source for an accurate way to contact somebody. If I go to a website and I sign up for a New York Times subscription, and I put in my phone number, my name, my phone number, and my email address, most likely, I'm probably putting in something accurate. So that data is aggregated and logged by our databases. So in terms of that, it just depends on how fast the person is to act with their phone number. And we want to make sure they possess the phone that they're actually purporting to, say they have. So, because I mean, obviously everyone has phone plans with T-Mobile, Verizon, so.
So don't even use a phone plan. I'm trying to find out how real time you are using AI. So if somebody moves tomorrow and they've already purchased a house or rented an apartment, would you have that address? That's all I'm trying to find out. How real time
Our
is your data?
probably is up to within the week, I would say, because those county databases and all that stuff, they take their time to update. If the person moves tomorrow, we'll ping the counties every day to make sure to get the latest housing information. But those some clerk, sitting somewhere might not update the record databases, in time for us to capture that information. So it all basically depends on how fast those certain bureaucracies, move data through their systems until it gets to us. But as soon as it does get to a point where we can get it, we get it right away.
So I'm going to say to the group, because I've researched this a lot, and there are other companies out there that are pretty accurate and can get it pretty quickly. I would say this is, with the AI and the algorithms that they're using, this is very good and a very reasonable price in comparison to a couple of other companies. So just a plug for you, but I wanted to make sure that the data that you were getting and that you had multiple data points would meet that real-time accuracy. In a week's time, three days to a week is really good. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right,
Any-
so we have some other questions in the chat. Let's go ahead and run through that. Melody asked, is there additional fees when selecting options like do not call deceased and relatives?
Well, can you repeat that, Eric? We do not, what is the question about do not call?
Is there additional cost to skip trace relatives, do
Yes.
not call, and additional
Let
filters?
me pull that up real fast. Give me one moment and I'll go over that if you give me a second here. So
Perry asked, is the platform a monthly or per search? So on that one, we just went over it. You guys can choose the free plan and then choose to skip trace each search at 15 cents, which is honestly still a really good rate. Or you can choose one of the monthly subscriptions and it'll bring your per skip basis down.
So they're going to demographic filters. Each demographic filter, we charge an additional surcharge of 0.2 skips per match, just because we're requesting that additional data. So let's just say you have one property and you want to filter them. Let's just say you have 10 properties, right? But you only want the ones that are, 65 to 79, all right? And let's just say that 3 of those properties match the criteria of owners between this age range. You'll get charged for three skips for those 3 properties, plus an additional 0.2 per match. So 1.2 per skip. So and 3 skips is 3.6 skips is what you get charged. So each filter here is 0.2 skips per match. It's a fraction of a skip, just because we're actually requesting that additional information. For relatives context too, 2/10 of a skip. For the deceased filter, 2/10 of a skip. So all the demographic filters here are 2/10 of a skip. The do not scrub list is 1/10 of a skip, so 0.1. So let's say you have a 10 records in your upload and you want the DNC scrub for each record, you'd be charged 11 skips. 1.1 skip per record times 10, you get charged 11. Previous order information, this is where it gets a little bit more in terms of the cost of it. We charge 10 skips per property. Reason being is because we need to skip trace multiple individuals against a certain property. So they could be, up to, that many owners. So we have to, charge per previous owner. So it's 10 skips per property that we charge for that. So if you skip trace one property and you want the previous owners, you would get charged 10 skips.
Now, Sal, let me ask you this. Say they do their research and they locate older surplus funds, but they have either themselves or a virtual assistant perform the research and verify who the previous owner is. If they give you a spreadsheet that shows under the name, the previous owner, but it's showing the address that got foreclosed, can they come in here and do a bulk skip trace without clicking that previous owner button because they've already supplied the
Yes, they
first name
can.
and last name?
Absolutely, yes, they can, because at some point in their history, the owner has been associated with that property. So so long as you have a person's name and an associated address of that person,
Nice.
then our skip tracing can pick those owners
Yeah.
up. Now, how far back you go, obviously the further back you go, the less accurate it gets. However, if there's some sort of association with the property and a person, yes, you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what majority of us do. When we identify these older surplus funds, we'll go and check the sales history and see who that owner actually was. So when we prepare our spreadsheet, we'll have that name already. So that is an option, guys. If you want to kind of cut your research in half, let's say you don't want to keep going through all the sales histories, then you can just go there to previous owner. If you guys are attacking an older list. And key points, that DNC scrub, guys, there is not many skip tracing providers. I don't even know another skip tracing provider that does give the DNC checklist. So this is very important. We will be having a FCC TCPA attorney on a call within these next few weeks, and they're going to stress the importance of the DNC list. It's very
Wow.
important that we stay compliant and that we know what we're doing. All right. We don't want to just blindly blast people,
Mm.
text messages, voicemail drops, and then they're on the do not call list, and then you get hit with a lawsuit. So that is very important. And then also the pricing on this is very good compared to other ones. Also, the speed, guys. If you do skip tracing with other providers, usually you're doing a bulk, it's going to take 24 to 48 hours. Or if you want to do an individual skip, you might head over to True People Search. Yes, it could be fast, but then how reliable are the results and do they have DNC? No, not necessarily. I would say 15 cents is worth my time to head over to Skipify, plug in the address, and then immediately you have the owner's information, the relatives' information, if they're on the DNC list, if they're deceased, mailing addresses, all of that in real-time data. All right, we have a lot of other questions. How long will the data under my data be retained in your account?
I can answer
The,
Shot
go
if
ahead.
you want.
Go ahead, Dan,
Yeah,
please.
so your data never expires. We do include list storage, but the free account includes 5,000 records. So, and before you get beyond that, there's quite a bit amount of list storage there, and then your skips, they never expire, so you can download them at any point in time as long as you have enough list storage. It's always being stored on the server. So when it comes to the monthly subscriptions, a lot of times we get asked the question like, do I have to use all my skips from that monthly subscription in that month? And the answer is no. It will roll over. So anything that you don't use in that month will roll over into the next month. So, it's good for people if they're looking to scale their business because you're getting the skips at a cheaper cost. So like Eric mentioned, like you're paying on the free plan 15 cents per skip, but go 13 cents and so on and so forth. So
Dan,
really
you broke
a
up
few
there.
different ways in which you can strategize.
Danny, you
Can you
broke
hear me?
up there. I'm gonna repeat what you said, okay?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
Free plan is 15 cents a skip, but you can subscribe and get a cheaper per skip rate. So let's say our basic light plan, you go down to $99 for 750 skips, and also a few thousand property records. So that's about 13 cents per skip. Plus, you're not paying anything for the property records; they're already included in there. The basic plan, you're paying about $289 for 3,000 skips. That's less than 10 cents a skip, and you get 10,000 property records as well too. So you get a much better return if you subscribe and buy it once.
Yeah.
And subscribe is not, you're paying for 1 month at a time, and it renews until you cancel, but there's no
So, Saad, Sharon asked a question. She said, if we pay on a monthly basis, does it carry over if you do use it or you do not use it?
100% it carries over. Yeah, absolutely. The skips don't
So
expire.
your skips will just keep adding up if you aren't using it.
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. T asked, this was in reference to the list showing the previous homeowners. Can they believe that the first previous owner that you have listed is the most recent previous owner? Is it in that order?
That's correct. Yes, it goes by recent chronological history.
Okay, awesome. And Latoya, I see your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just kept tracing myself. Can you go back and just do an example again? Because my phone numbers didn't show up. So let's just do another example again to make sure I'm not missing something.
How about this? I can have one of our support reps get on a call with you and show you how to assist you, if that's okay.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so Dan, if you can make a note and just connect with Latoya, please. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Call.
So, Latoya, did you input your property address where you
Yes,
live at,
yes,
and then you clicked on Skip Trace?
yes.
And did you go to My Files?
My data, my
Yeah.
file, I downloaded it, yes.
And then did it show your name or did it show a different
It
person's
showed my
name?
name, but none of my phone numbers or
Okay.
potential phone numbers. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, support will be able to get with you on that.
okay.
All
Do you
right.
need my number, Dan?
Yes, if you could provide me your email in the chat, then I can reach out to you via that way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Viola said, can you go over the map again where you can search property addresses?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, so the map, there's multiple ways to search the map. You can search with an individual address by county. So let's say, I'm currently in DuPage County, Illinois. You put that in there, and you do a quick filter. So let's say you want to try one of our lists that you have here, our custom lists. We can do the the pre-foreclosure list. How about that one? And you press search. And as you can see, it tells you how many records you have in DuPage County. So there's the geographic region will always be on top here. And your list, if you want to open it up, you can tell exactly on the right-hand side what options have been selected. So not only do you select a list here, it tells you what went into curating that list in terms of data points. Once you're happy with everything, it shows you on the map exactly the properties that are included in the search. So, you can one by one click on them and see exactly the details. But if you scroll down, you get the entire list of properties here. And it's a paginated page where you can see the actual properties and see their values and kind of do your research before you skip trace. However, it's pretty detailed view of the geographic region that you're trying to search and also the different houses or properties that are included in that region based on your search criteria. Was there anything specific that you want me to cover outside of that? I'll take that
Okay.
as
Hey, Saad, let's take a look at the propensity data so that
sure.
they can determine some good pre-foreclosure opportunities.
Absolutely. So here's the propensity default list. So the category we're selecting here, I'm selecting DuPage County, Illinois. And I'm selecting on the market, no. Okay. And likely default, the very likely and likely. Now, you're asking me what that is. It basically is, we have a scale, and the scale is from 0 to 500. And 100 is the average person, okay? Anyone below 100, they're probably not likely to default. Anyone from 101 to say 300, they're likely to default. Now, where it really gets intense is the 301 to 500, they're very likely to default. So that's how we have people kind of segmented in terms of finding people, on the default list. So you hit filter, likely default, you press search, and it has 11,154 records. Okay. Let's if you want to narrow that down, I can narrow that down too. I'll give her the county.
Can we just click on one of those
Oh,
properties as
sure,
an
absolutely.
example?
Let's do that.
And can we see how much is owed on the property, or do we just see the value of the home?
You can see the market total value and the assessed total value on the free preview. I can
Okay,
skip
but then
trace
when
it
you,
and get more information.
okay, gotcha.
And do you want me to go ahead and skip trace that and see what you get?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So this person, and let me hide their name.
We can't see it anyway, so
Okay, you can't see it. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, as a person here, they're likely to default, and let me basically what you do is I'm not going to show this on the screen, but what it does is it tells you the person's name and all this interesting information, and it tells you their default score. So whatever their default score is, it'll tell you, and you can contact them. If it's above 300, then they're pretty likely to default, actually. So
yeah, and that's good, guys. So if somebody's about to default, this is kind of where you can get an upper hand with the competition, even before it even goes to a notice of default, the notice of trustee sale. This is like seeing somebody who could be drowning in their foreclosure debt. I'm talking about multiple missed payments and it's about to go down. Property is about to get foreclosed. So if you guys can actually reach these people before anybody even knows that they're going to be in a foreclosure, you can definitely help them out. Barb's said, is that the same as list pendus? So this would be prior to that.
that's correct. Yes, it's prior to that. List pendants is already an option. We have a pre-foreclosure list. And within that list is there's an option for list pendants. So that's already one of the stages of pre-foreclosure that we already have on file.
Another thing too, guys, is the format for Skipify. Their spreadsheet allows for 3 custom fields. So they're going to, if you want to cover that slot, they ask for the first name, last name, property address if you're importing your own spreadsheet. And then they give you 3 custom fields that you can supply. I recommend doing the county, type of foreclosure, and the surplus amount.
Just one correction, is two custom fields. We can add a third one if you want, but right now it's two. So
There's 2. Okay.
yes.
Well, do type of foreclosure and surplus
Yeah.
amount. That would be the best thing. So, a lot of you guys could possibly be in a different workflow. All right. We all have the same steps. First, we identify properties that sell for a higher amount, or maybe you're already working in existing surplus funds lead list. The next step is to figure out the skip tracing. We need to find their phone number, their mailing address, their email, relatives, information. So a lot of us are using different methods. Some of us are using Skip Matrix, some of us are using True People Search, some of us are using Been Verified, Intellius, all these other realms. I highly recommend to incorporate Skipify. All right, even if you're using other ones, because if you don't have the DNC list, you are at a huge disadvantage in this business and you could be begging for a lawsuit. All right, Latoya, do you have another question?
Oh, no, I just forgot to take my hand down. I'm sorry.
Okay. It says Mark. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, so is it best if you have someone, you do the do not call, not to call that number and just call people who don't have a yes for do not call so you don't risk getting sued?
Yeah, so on the do not call list, you can still send them emails, you can still send them mailers, and you can still message them on social media. Now, we'll be having a call with an FCC TCPA attorney in about 2 weeks. He told me that there's 2 ways that you can contact people on the DNC list, a direct offer or an informative call. All right. There's a gray area with the informative call because in our business, yes, we inform them that there's surplus funds after the foreclosure, but at the same time, we're looking to kind of market our services. So that's a gray area. We're going to wait until he tells us how we can be in full compliance with that. But a direct offer, for example, people who are looking to purchase a home, they can say, hey, I want to buy your house for X amount of dollars. Well, in surplus funds, what can we buy? We can buy their rights towards a claim. So look at assignment of interest, a sort of buyout agreement. You can say, hey, I would like to purchase your rights towards this claim. And it can be for any amount. It doesn't have to be thousands. It could literally be $1. So you can kind of get away with the DNC list, but I would prefer if you guys do not contact them now until we have that call with the attorney, which will be in like 2 weeks. I paid this attorney a couple $1,000s and we sat down, we talked about surplus funds, we went over our verbiage, we went over CRMs that are used, and he's compiling a presentation for us. This was the same attorney side that was on Matt Larson's
Okay.
training as well. So he's represented many big companies that were getting sued for DNC. So he knows all about the DNC, TCPA, and FCC compliance. All right. Brenda, go ahead. Brenda, go ahead.
Okay, all right. I was trying to unmute. Okay, so to be clear, okay, I just did a full pre-foreclosure for last month, and I just real and so to be clear, the 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 Skipify also does pre-foreclosure. Does it give you the dates of the pre-foreclosures at all? I mean, the ones that are being in default, or is just giving you just a number that because they've been missing payments?
It gives you the date as well too. I believe it's a foreclosure status and a foreclosure recording date, I believe is the date you get, and the auction date as well too.
I
Okay, 'cause
believe
I wish
though, in
I
order
wish
to access pre-foreclosure and propensity data, you do have to be on one of the paid plans as of right now. Is that correct, Seth?
Very good point, Dan. You have to have basic light and above for that data.
Oh wow. I wish I had known that before I did that, because I just literally just did the entire month of Florida pre-foreclosure. Oh my God. I would have used I didn't realize that you had that type of capability. Oh
No,
my goodness.
we
Okay. And
absolutely
you
do.
have, huh?
If you want to get together with Dan, Brenda, correct?
Yes. Because I just blew like $200.
Okay,
And I had
we can give some credits too, Brenda, if you want to hop onto our plans too. We can give
I,
some
I'm, a,
credits.
I'm part of your paid plan. That's why I'm pissed myself because I just blew $200. I didn't know that
No
you
worries at
had
all.
that capability.
No worries.
One other thing too, I want to touch on, Saad, is,
Sure.
and I don't know if I have the sharing capability or not here, but let me just see if I do. I want to talk about the hit rate because I've gotten some questions from people regarding the hit rate and what that means. When you come to your My Data section, you're going to see a few different things. You'll see downloads, searches, hits, and then the hit rate. The hit rate does not necessarily reflect the accuracy. The hit rate reflects whether or not there's a match with the record that you provided. So in regard to this, a lot of times if you see something like NA or 0%, that just means that there wasn't a match. Now, that also means if there's a 0% hit rate on a 1 out of 1 search, you're not being charged anything for it either. So that's something to just be aware of. And it's nothing to be concerned about. A lot of times, the reason why, when you select these properties, why there's a lower hit rate is because you're adding on demographic filters that weed them out. And so if you select 100 properties and 50% of those don't have a match with the demographic, you're going to have a 50% hit rate, which sounds like it's a bad thing, but in reality, it's a good thing because you're not being charged for a specific type of target audience that doesn't fit, what it is that you're searching for. So that's just one thing I did want to point out for the hit rates. But yeah.
Anyone
That's
other
all.
questions? Eric, you wanna?
Albert said, is there an additional charge for each relative? So when you select that you want to include relatives, is that charged per relative, or when you hit the additional relative, does that include all the three relatives that are?
It includes the relatives. It's a 0.2 per skip surcharge, per skip per property, and includes all the relatives. That does.
Yeah, so when it's what per skip, guys, would be for the property, including the owner, and then if you tag relatives, it would include all the relatives. So it wouldn't be like 15 cents for relative one, then 15 cents for relative two, 15 cents for relative three, 15 cents for owner. It's not going to be that. Morris, do you have another question, or is your hand raised from earlier? All right, I think he's good.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I got I was trying to unmute it. I do have a question, a general question that I'm having trouble with, and maybe y'all did cover this to the guy on the call late. But what is the best way to verify the funds? I'm actually closing a couple deals, and then when it get down to the end of it, there are no funds available. So I'm missing a step or I'm missing something.
Yeah,
So what's the best
so
way to
yeah,
handle
Morris.
that?
Yeah, so my method is we find leads, right? Property sell for a higher amount. We skip trace, we market, we get somebody interested. Before you send them an agreement form, you need to be doing your verification, checking to see if a claim has been filed. Now, some states are easier than others. Some states are judicial, so they'll give us a case number on the mortgage foreclosure side, and we can go into the county docket and we can see if somebody filed a motion to release the surplus funds. If we're looking at a tax sale, Florida, for example, is a judicial state that has a tax deed portal for every county, and we can go in and see if a claim has been filed. But majority of states don't have that. So unfortunately, you can't really go online and check and see if a tax surplus claim has been filed. Some counties will give you a list and it'll tell you if somebody filed a claim or not. But for the most part, you will have to contact the client or the county. So, we should be asking them verifying questions. Did you know that you were foreclosed? Has anybody contacted you about the surplus? Have you filed a claim? Now, if you have somebody and you got them signed up, and then it turns out that a claim was filed by a different party, maybe before you submit your agreement form to them, you should start contacting the county to confirm that there are surplus funds available.
Okay.
What state are you running into this issue?
I had this issue in Georgia, Texas, and Ohio.
So Georgia and Texas on the mortgage foreclosure side is non-judicial. So you really won't have a way unless you contact the trustee. Ohio, you do. I'm not sure if you know, but you can do the clerk of court search. You can put in the case number and it will tell you if somebody has filed a claim or not.
Okay. So if you contact the trustees, because most of them I have is mostly a mortgage foreclosure. So if you contact the trustees, a lot of times they won't give you the information, or how do you get around that without being the attorney? Is that the best way
Most
to kind of
no,
verify?
most trustees actually do, but you have to have them under contract. You have to have the client under agreement, and then you use the trustee request template, which I have in the course, and then
Okay.
they'll respond to you. Yeah, so if you in that template, it literally says, if there are surplus proceeds and you've already dispersed them, please send us either the sales reports, the distribution summary, certificate of disbursement. We want to see proof that that payment did get released so that we can show the client.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm telling you, just copy and paste. That's all you have to do is copy and paste
No,
that.
yeah,
That's in the
I'll definitely go in back in the court, because that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now. I was like, well, somewhere I missed in the research part of it.
steps. Yeah.
Like with all the interest ate it up or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, damn, then
Yeah.
came back and did all this work, and now, got to start back from square one. So I just wanted to see was there a better way to verify. So I definitely will do that.
Another question too, it looks like that we got in the chat is to filter by residential versus commercial. I'll show how to do that really quickly. So what we'll do is I'll share my screen. So here on the property search tool, if you just type in like your city or your state and you're trying to do bulk skip tracing, you can come down here to ownership info, and then you could choose the owner type as an individual or company owned. If you're trying to find if something's owned by an LLC or if it's just owned by that individual, but you could also come here to the property characteristics. And under property characteristics, we have residential and commercial filters as well. So it's a good opportunity here if you're looking for specific types of property. If I come here and I select residential building type, I have access to all these different types of homes, such as general, single family, townhouses, and then tiny houses even, and duplexes, triplexes, so on and so forth. So this is a good opportunity to take advantage of the different types of data that we have if you are searching for specific kinds of data and specific types of properties. But then we also here have that pre-foreclosure filter that Saad was showing earlier. And all of this stuff just helps you target and narrow down your searches more. But that was for that question. I think that there might have been another one here as well. Go over the AI map. So this is our data includes AI into it already. So this has everything to do with artificial intelligence when it comes to selecting specific types of filters. All of that's put into your searches already. But this is specifically here under the property search tool. And so that's a good place to go if you're not uploading your own data. We already have all of this information already within Skipify. So I believe, there's another question here about support and any other questions. If you go over to YouTube and you search Skipify AI, which I could also drop the link, I would recommend subscribing to our YouTube channel. We have tutorials that we're releasing. We're releasing a lot more now on a weekly basis. We have a bunch of different videos here that you can check out, and we create step-by-step videos. And if we don't have one and you'd like to see how to do something, you can just reach out to us, let us know, and we'll go ahead and create that video for you. But I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to our YouTube channel in the chat. And then even on Skipify as well, it should also show that we have Skipify U, and this is where a lot of our videos will be posted. We have free downloads. We have a few different options here for you. And then we also have a blog where we talk a lot about best practices and, the best ways to pull lists and find data. So if there's something on there that sparks your interest or you have questions about, you could go there as well.
Yeah, I'll get with you guys tomorrow and we can kind of game plan on some tutorial videos for surplus funds.
Yeah.
Because in our aspect, it's just a tad bit different than other real estate investors on the wholesale research and stuff like that. So I'll get with you guys tomorrow.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And we're working on creating more content, and we're going to continue working with you as well, Eric. But this page here, a lot of times we're going to be updating this on a regular basis, and we're going to include frequently asked questions here. We want to create more content for you all to help you better navigate the site and utilize our skip tracing platform to the best of its capabilities. We're continuously adding new features and filters. So we do have a contact page where you can, send us emails, reach out if you have questions and whatnot. So definitely would encourage you.
One more thing I want to tell everybody, skip tracing, to really determine if it is good or not, you have to do proper marketing. It can't just be one call, one text. Oh, they didn't answer on the first call. This number is incorrect. Because for those of you who use the CRM, I was even talking to a gentleman today. We went to our Cook County. He already closed the deal. He used the CRM. The client reached back on the last message. So you guys know we do our 3 messages. We have the initial outreach, we have the follow-up if they don't respond, and then we have the last message saying, hey, I've reached out multiple times. This is a time-sensitive matter. You will no longer hear from me. If you want to move forward, leave us your email. Boom, the client leaves their email and they respond. So do not just call one time or text one time and then say, oh, the skip tracing doesn't work. Make sure that you go through all of the marketing channels. All right. Make sure you call multiple times. Make sure you text multiple times. Make sure, even for emails. All right. So give it a shot before you just write off skip tracing, because that is the most common error that I see people make in this industry. They'll call somebody one time, they don't answer, and then it's over. So, like today, for example, the deal that I closed, we contacted them on Thursday, called the number. The guy said his name. So I was like, okay, this is valid, left a voicemail, and then he called back today. So, you should definitely be leaving voicemails. Even if they don't mention their name, still leave a voicemail, because you never know, what could happen. All right, guys. So, if you do have additional questions for Skipify, you guys can contact them. They've dropped their information there. You can contact me as well. We have the link there to go ahead and sign up. I highly advise you guys to at least test it out. It is the skip tracing provider that I use, that I, of course, promote, for many reasons. Speed, DNC check, which is very important in this industry, and then also the effectiveness of the data. All right. So the fact that we're getting leads that have accurate numbers. All right. So definitely check that out, guys. If you guys have any additional questions, you can contact them via email. And like I said, we'll work on additional tutorial videos. So if there's anything that you guys want in terms of content to actually use the system, just reach out to us and we'll take care of it. All right, guys. So I'll see you on Thursday.